Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry. Today we're talking about how to create our day. This is the fourth and final segment of our Create Your Year series. We have covered the yearly, monthly, and weekly planning, and today we're talking about what we'll do on a daily basis to tie it all together. Now, this is another simple little 5-minute process that I do on most mornings, but not every morning. It's simply an optional framework that makes my days flow more smoothly. I hope that you can get a sense of the theme that we're trying to create here, where it's structure with flexibility. We're focusing on becoming, not achieving. We're setting ourselves up to be able to have a lot of success, but success doesn't mean we checked everything off. It's that alignment with who we want to be that I think about as success. So we do have an accompanying worksheet for this Create Your Day resource, and also all of them are on the same page. We have resources for Create Your Day, week, month, and year. You can sign up for those free bonus templates at learndobecome.com/create. Okay, so I'm excited for you. And if you want to come to the show notes page, I have a written version of today's podcast at learndobecome.com/episode 174. So let's just dive right in. Okay, I put all of these in little steps because I'm trying to just give you here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3, trying to make it very, very doable. So step 1 is I do like to start with a 30-second review of my vision for the year. We talked about this as we did our month and week as well. It's really helpful to connect back to that annual vision, I think, as often as possible. If you created it deliberately, and for me, it's very prayerful, then I feel excited about it. And when I see it, I get re-inspired. So having that vision in front of me as often as possible is just part of my year. Okay. So I do have a photo on my vision board inside Evernote in my daily reminders note. And then sometimes I do print or draw a copy and tape it to the back of my bedroom door, so I see it right when I wake up. However you want to do it on a daily basis. Typically the Create Your Day process happens either while I'm in bed, I guess I'm just kind of waking up, or, I have a little chair and I sit down and maybe I'm doing my personal connection with God in the morning, and I'll do the Create Your Day process then. But I typically try to do it before I actually leave the bedroom in the morning because I want it to be something that's, on my mind right from the start. If I think, I'll do this later, I usually don't, and it's fine. But then the next morning I'm like, I want to create my day because it pays off. It's literally 5 minutes that pays off amazingly well. So once I've reviewed my vision for the year, step 2 is I actually bring up the Create Your Day template. I have this now in pictures, and so that's what you're going to get when you sign up for the resources. We'll also have a picture of it on the show notes page if you just want to check that out either way. But I have just a little image, and I look at each image, and then I do write down either on a notes app in my phone or I have a paper planner, and I'll just sketch out notes. It's fast. I'm not worried about perfect punctuation or, capitalization or grammar or spelling. It's just like a quick, oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so I'm just now going to explain step 2. How, each image represents something that I'm going to create. And it's very similar to Create Your Week. In fact, as I was putting together the templates, I sent them to Aaliyah. She was designing them in Canva. And I said, okay, here's Create Your Week. I had that on the left side. And here's Create Your Day. And this first column, same, exactly the same. And then just a few differences in the right column. So anyway, hopefully as you see it, you'll be able to tell that it's the same categories of life, but it's not the exact same thing. We're going to now make things really specific for that day. So first is a sun representing connection with our higher power. I just ask myself the question, what am I going to do today to connect with my higher power? And when is the best time to do so? Now with Create Your Week, I may have scheduled a couple of events, so that could fold into it. Or another example, I could say, okay, this morning I'm going to read this specific section of my scriptures, and then tonight as a family, we're going to watch this 5-minute video together and have a discussion about faith. Great, I've just thought about it. Then I have a little picture of a book, which represents personal learning. So considering the things I plan to learn this week as I created my week, which one or ones will I focus on today? So an example could be, all right, I'm going to watch 10 minutes of the leadership masterclass while I eat lunch. And then while I batch my soup today, I usually make a big pot of soup like once a week. And I blend it up and I have all these awesome veggies. I just say I'm going to wear my headphones and listen to my Spanish lesson number 3. So I don't know, this kind of stuff makes me happy. Like listening to Spanish while I'm making healthy soup. This is so happy. All right, then next picture is of a dumbbell, which represents exercise. So looking at the exercise schedule I planned, what am I doing today? So I might say, okay, today is an upper body weight training for 20 minutes and I'm walking Sunny. Awesome. Next, I have the dinner plate or like the place setting picture. That represents like the family meals, but on the daily basis, it also represents my personal nutrition. So I'll ask, does the meal plan I put together still look good for tonight? So, and as I'm planning my menu, I often write it like on my bookmark in my planner. So I could just kind of see briefly like, oh yeah, I was going to make this. But I also ask the question, what else do I need to plan or what else do I plan to eat today to provide the nourishment my body needs? And this is a big deal for me because I have had food issues for most of my life. And, I grew up counting calories when I was 9. I used to think restriction was what women were supposed to do. Food kind of scared me. And then I had a lot of illness and I couldn't get the right things. And so now I know which foods make me feel good, but I like to plan them in advance and just think about it, and I'm not like crazy about it. But if I have a plan, then I end up not ever feeling ravenous and like, I'm just so hungry, and then eating something that's going to make me sick. So an example is I'll say, okay, yeah, I'm making that crock pot meal tonight. So I'm going to get the chicken out of the freezer when I go in the kitchen, and I'm going to put everything together before I eat lunch. And then for my other meals and snacks, my plan is to eat my protein smoothie for breakfast. I have the same thing for breakfast every day. I love it. 2 pomegranate delight smoothies for snacks. Okay, this one I call it pomegranate delight. It's those power beets. I think I got them at Sam's Club, but it's beets and pomegranate. And then I mix it with water and frozen spinach. Okay, I know, so weird, but it's like this drink full of greens and then this beet powder. But a beet smoothie sounds disgusting, so I call it pomegranate delight. I have that for snacks. And then I made these protein pancakes. I'm going to make those for lunch. And I have these little sugar-free peanut butter cups for dessert. So I just kind of plan that. And maybe I'll write it down or maybe I'll just think about it. But just having at least a thought like, okay, given the ingredients I have in the house and how I'm feeling and how I want to feel, what will I eat? So you might not care. This might not be a big thing for you, but if you're like me, it's helpful. All right, next I plan, I have a little picture of the Z's representing the sleep or rest schedule. So I'll be like, okay, thinking about how I slept the night before, what our schedule is for the day. I plan my rest. So I might say, okay, I'm going to teach my Arise class today and then eat lunch and then take my 20-minute nap. And I'll get ready for bed around 10. So I'm actually ready to sleep at 10:30. And then the next picture is balloons. So that represents something to look forward to. I like to have at least one thing that specifically makes me giddy each day. And it doesn't take much. So it might be something like, enjoy the pomegranate I bought. Okay, this time of year, I actually do have a pomegranate sitting downstairs. And when I was a little girl, my dad would always get me one each week when they were in season. And so I get like excited about pomegranates. I think they're fun. And so that could be something I'm excited about. Oh, I'm going to wear my dark colored sweater. So if I spill, it won't matter because pomegranates can get messy. Or I might say something like, oh, I'm going to watch Mark Rober's new YouTube video with Spencer. Mark Rober is so creative. He was a former NASA engineer and he, teaches families, different people about science through his videos. They're so fun. So he has one, like a new one each month. So I might say, oh yeah, he's got a new video out. I'm gonna watch it with Spencer. Or I'll say, I'm going to read my new book in the recliner after dinner. So there's a book I'm excited about and then I just can't wait and I can look forward to it. And the next picture is a heart, which represents relationships. And this is quick, but it's very important. I feel like this question is probably the most important question. How will I strengthen my relationships as I go through my activities today? So I think about our daily routines, things like seeing Spencer off to school, or exercising, or getting ready with Eric, or working with our team and community, or seeing neighbors while I walk Sunny, or going to the calendared events, or eating dinner with the family, etc. I don't want to just do things. I want to have a relationship component with as many of my activities as possible. I did learn this back in college in my class, Work and Relationships in the Home, where they suggested whenever you have a work project to do, whether it's weeding or cleaning a bathroom or making dinner, if you can make that into a relationship building activity, you're transferring values, you're building connections, and you're, kind of turning something mundane into something really meaningful. Now, right now, at this phase of my life, it might mean I try to have good conversations while driving somewhere with our family members, or I involve a friend or family member in an activity I could have otherwise done alone. Or sometimes it means I find some jokes to share at dinner. Most of the time, the family laughs at me at how much I laugh at the jokes, because I think they're so funny. I love jokes. And so sometimes I'll find those for dinner, or I'll call a friend while I walk the dog, or I might take a little card over to a neighbor. Our neighbor across the street had a birthday, and Eric and I like to sing this little happy birthday song in harmony. It's not the typical happy birthday, it's a different one. And so I said, hey, Eric, can we go over and do a singing telegram? So he came with me and we did a singing telegram. She's like, you guys should go on the road. Anyway, that's fun. Like, it was, build a relationship. It was great. So this single question, how will I strengthen my relationships as I go through my activities today, really makes a difference in how I plan each day. And it makes a difference in how I feel, because then I feel connected to my loved ones by the end of the day. All right, next picture is an alarm clock, which represents appointments. This is just where I briefly look at my calendar to see what appointments I have that day. I try to keep those super minimal. And then there's a picture of a checkbox, which represents tasks that must be done, today. I also try to keep these as minimal as possible, but I like to see a very short list of today's deadlines. Here's what I need to do by today, like pay a specific bill or make a specific phone call or finish something for Learn to Become. I work from a very, very short list. And then typically I have a lot of flexible time where I can get ahead on things. So I'm never procrastinating till the end. I'm never playing catch up. It's just like do what has to be done today and then get ahead for the next day. And that's worked so well. It takes the pressure off. So, okay, that's that. Now, as you're looking at all these little pictures, you can do them in any order you want. Like if you're thinking, well, I'd rather look at my appointments and tasks first, because then I can fold in how I'm going to build relationships and what I'm going to eat and all that stuff. So yes, I think you could definitely do those first if you want. Up to you. But the reason I chose the specific order I chose for each of the templates is because we're going through the same framework for everything in Create Your Year. We're focusing on self-care, the spirit, mind, body. Then we're focusing on relationships. And then we're focusing on tangible outcomes like projects and tasks. So while you might want to look at them a different way when you're planning, I just put them in the prioritized order that makes the most sense to me as far as what brings the most value and joy to my life. And then, you can work from there. Now, step 3, usually once I've thought about each area, I'm ready to go. Sometimes it's just like, okay, think about it, figure that out, let's go. But if the day is particularly full, so maybe a few days a month when I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like a lot going on today. We have got several appointments and I've got to really pay attention to the clock today because I'm trying to hit a few different things. If that's the case, then I write out a more complete schedule on my calendar. So all of my goals and desires are recorded in order. So I use a Franklin planner. And they have a daily schedule, okay? So I would put my appointments in there. And even if you're thinking, well, aren't they on your Google Calendar? Yes, but sometimes just the fact that I sit down and kind of rewrite everything for the day, it just reminds me, yes, all of these things are important. I'm being very deliberate. This is how the whole day is going to flow, and it just takes an extra couple minutes. So on that paper schedule, I'll record, okay, here's my meetings and appointments. And then I'll look at all the stuff that I just talked to you about. Okay, I'll put my food in there. Here's what I'm going to eat and when. I'll put my exercise in there. I'll add in anything that's relationship building. I'll maybe even put my tasks for the day. Like, okay, I'll probably work on this at this time of day and I'll work on this at this time of day. because I really have to look at my energy. Like, for example, I'm recording this podcast right now. I typically try to record podcasts earlier in the day because if it's nap time, I don't feel like recording a podcast. Or if Spencer's home, I want to be a Spencer. I don't want to be like locked away in my podcast room. So, as you look at your energy, look at the people in your life, you look at what you're going to be doing, typically things can make sense in a certain part of the day, So anyway, that part's fun. So, okay, I think that's it for today. I'm really excited for you to try it. And again, we do have these templates. You can either just look at them or you can download them. We have them printable or just fillable. So you could get them up on a computer and fill them in or on your phone. But I just think having those images just kind of locked in, it's going to make it so easy. And I wouldn't be so excited about this if I hadn't been doing it for years and noticed what a difference it made. And I can tell the days I do it makes a big difference. The days I don't, I just feel like I'm more reactive. I usually end up more grumpy, and I usually think, oh, how did I spend my time? Because it's so easy to waste time. Like, you could just get on social media and lose an hour, or you could get distracted by a task that's not that important and think, oh, I'm excited about this task, let me just do it. But really that wasn't your plan and it doesn't connect with your vision. So why did you just do that? And I'm talking to myself here. So I find when I can direct my energy, things only take it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes here. It's not that big of a deal, but it starts really, really paying off. Can I say it again? You're like, April, we get it. Okay. All right. I am sending so much love. I hope you'll enjoy this whole create your year process. And you don't have to just create your year at the beginning of the year. You can go through and revise, or if you're listening to this, in July, start now. Go ahead. Sure. It's going to help you to see that you have talents and skills and abilities and potential. You have so much to offer the world, and you have the same amount of time as everyone else does. And you are just as good as everyone else is. There isn't some hierarchy in value. And you're not going to earn more value by creating your day better or whatever. It's just making the process better. I want all of us waking up excited and going to bed content. If that's not happening, there needs to be a change made. I think all of us deserve to have that lift. And whether it's logistics, like learning how to, calendar and prioritize and check email and things like that, or whether it's more mental, like getting to the root of our beliefs, that's what I've been working on. It's worth it. And that's one thing I learned in my masterclass on leadership. It was Bob Iger who's teaching it. He's the CEO of Disney. And he said, it's always worth it to take something good and make it into something great. And I think that applies in so many areas. Like, this is worth it. Even if your days are good, if you want to make them great, I think it's worth it. Okay. Oh, sending a big virtual hug. Have a great day, and we will see you soon at learndobecome.com.